Listen to me. Men don't end things the way women think they do. They don't have the big talk. They don't sit you down and tell you what's going on. They don't give you answers. They just start acting different while you're still texting, still making plans, still thinking you're moving forward together. Things get colder. The effort disappears. And without even realizing it, you're not someone he's chasing anymore. You're just someone he keeps around. Most women don't lose a guy because they did something wrong. They lose him because they never noticed when his feelings change. And by the time it hits them, it's already too late. Here's the truth. Nobody says out loud. Men show you how they feel almost right away. Not with what they say, but with what they do. If you don't know how to see it, you end up putting your heart into someone who already checked out. If you do see it, you stop wasting time on nothing and you get your power back. Men aren't confusing. They're pretty straightforward. What messes women up is listening to words when his actions are telling you everything. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 clear signs that show when a man isn't interested, so you never have to guess where you stand. Each one shows you exactly how he sees you. If this kind of real talk matters to you, like the video and subscribe. This channel is for women who want to understand men, act like a lady, and think like a man without losing themselves in the process. And it starts with seeing what's right in front of you. Most women grow up believing one basic thing. If a man isn't interested, he'll tell you. He'll be honest. He'll be clear. That belief feels safe. But let me tell you something. It's completely wrong. Men almost never reject women with words. They reject them with actions quietly, slowly, without ever actually saying it. And this is where so many women lose their power without even knowing it, because they keep waiting for him to say something that he's never going to say. Here's the part nobody prepares you for. Saying no has a cost for men, too. It creates drama. It invites a conversation they don't want to have. It risks conflict. So instead of closing the door completely, most men leave it cracked open. Not because they want you, but because keeping you around costs them nothing. They avoid saying no to keep their options open. They soften their distance to avoid the hard conversation. And they give just enough attention to keep getting what they want. From the outside, it looks confusing. From the inside, it makes perfect sense. This is why women stay way longer than they should. They keep trying harder. They keep being more understanding. They keep giving more, thinking that effort will make him feel what he's supposed to feel. But attraction doesn't work like that. It fades when a woman ignores what she's already being shown. Actions tell you the truth. They always have. When interest is real, it shows up naturally. There's attention, there's warmth, there's effort, there's ease. When interest is gone, it doesn't vanish dramatically. It just pulls back in small ways that are easy to excuse. And the woman who gets this doesn't argue with what's happening. She sees it early. Power doesn't come from forcing a guy to be clear when being vague works for him. Power comes from reading the pattern before you're in too deep. The strongest women aren't waiting around to be chosen. They're watching to see if he's choosing them at all. Once you stop expecting honesty, in his words, you start seeing honesty everywhere else. In how he looks at you, in how he responds, in how he makes time or doesn't. And when you trust what he does over what you hope he feels, you stop needing explanations. You stop performing to get his approval. You stop giving effort where interest already died. That shift alone changes everything. Because now you're not just reacting, you're reading things as they actually are and making decisions based on reality. And that brings us to the first place men show the truth long before they ever say it out loud. Number one, his attention goes somewhere else. Before a man pulls away with words, he pulls away with his attention. And attention always shows up in where he's looking first. When a man is really interested, his focus stays on you. His eyes land on you. Not because he's trying to be polite, but because nothing else in the room feels more important than you. But when interest drops, his eyes stop staying and start wandering. He looks past you instead of at you, over your shoulder, at his phone, at who just walked in. His attention splits. And once you know what you're looking for, it's not hard to see. The eyes don't stay. They move. They disconnect. They shift like he's already thinking about something else because he is. Women misread this all the time. They think distraction means he's nervous or shy or just having an off day. So they talk more. They try to be more interesting. They work harder to pull him back. And that's the mistake. A man doesn't look away when he's trying to figure out how to connect with you. He looks away when he's checking out what else is around. You'll see it everywhere once you stop making excuses for it. At dinner, he keeps looking at his phone even though nothing important is happening. In a group, his eyes follow other people instead of coming back to you. In conversation, he's only half there. Even when you're telling him something that matters to you, his focus drifts. He nods, but he's not really listening. He responds, but the response is generic. That's not distraction. That's priority. Here's the part most women don't want to accept. Men look at what they're still considering. When he's interested, his eyes naturally come back to you. When they don't, it's because he's already looking elsewhere. And the more you push for his attention, when it's not naturally on you, the less attractive you become. Attention can't be forced. It responds to presence, not pressure. The strongest move here isn't to try harder. It's to notice faster. When you pull back instead of chasing his attention, something changes. You stop feeding something that's already fading. You stop auditioning. And suddenly the whole thing shifts. Not because you demanded anything, but because you stopped giving him something he was taking for granted. A woman who doesn't chase wandering eyes becomes the woman whose presence actually means something when she's not trying so hard to be noticed. And that's when interest either comes back or disappears completely. Either way, you win because you're not lying to yourself anymore. Number two, his voice loses all the warmth. A man's voice will tell you how he feels before his words ever do. You can hear attraction. You can hear curiosity. And you can hear when interest quietly drained out. When a man is into you, his voice has life in it. It goes up and down. It speeds up when he's excited. It gets softer when he's being real with you. There's warmth. But that doesn't take effort. That's chemistry at work. Interest creates energy. And energy changes how someone sounds. But when that interest fades, the voice goes flat. Answers get shorter. The pace slows down. The tone turns neutral, almost robotic, not angry, not emotional, just empty. And this is where women get it wrong. They tell themselves he's tired, stressed, busy, had a rough day, anything except the actual truth. But listen closely to the difference. He sounds alive with his friends, engaged when he talks about something he cares about, animated when something excites him. Then he turns to you and suddenly all the color is gone. Same guy, same day, different energy. That's not exhaustion. That's selective disconnection. Texting works the same way. When interest is there, messages have rhythm. Emojis show up naturally. Words feel full. He adds details. He asks follow-up questions. Replies feel like he's actually present. When interest drops, everything gets stripped down to the basics. One-word answers. Delays. He doesn't explain. Conversations feel like chores instead of connection. You say something funny and get back a simple hi or lol. You share something personal and get okay or cool. The energy you're putting out isn't being matched, not even close. And the worst thing a woman can do here is overcompensate. She starts adding more excitement to fill the gap. She becomes more expressive to balance out his flatness. She tries to bring life back into something that's already dying. She sends longer messages, hoping to get longer responses. She adds more emojis, hoping to get some back. She shares more, hoping he'll engage more. But attraction doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to balance. When one side drains, the other side trying harder only makes the imbalance worse. Silence and calm do more than enthusiasm ever could in this moment. When you stop rewarding low energy with high effort, you change the dynamic. You say without words that you're not here to carry the conversation alone. And that either makes his interest come back or it shows that it's already gone. Both outcomes save you time. Both protect your position. A woman who doesn't chase emotional scraps becomes the woman whose presence is felt when she stops giving it so freely. And that quiet shift sets up something most women never see coming. The moment when his tone doesn't just go flat, but starts putting you below him. There's a very specific moment when everything quietly changes. And most women completely miss it. It's not when he leaves. It's not when he ghosts. It's not when he says he needs space. It's the moment you start giving more to make up for what he stopped giving. You feel the shift before you understand it. The warmth is gone. The ease is gone. And instead of stepping back, you lean in. You explain more. You soften your standards. You try to be more patient, more understanding, more flexible, hoping that effort will bring back what disappeared. That's the turning point. That's where power leaks out. Women are taught that trying harder equals caring more. But in attraction, trying harder when he's pulling away reads as desperation. The more you explain yourself, the more you try to convince him to stay connected, the more you show that you're invested in something he's already drifting from. And right here, without a single fight, your position changes. Number 3, his tone starts putting you beneath him. Tone isn't just sound, it's rank. When a man respects you, his tone carries openness, curiosity, softness. There's space for you in it. But when he no longer worries about losing you, that tone changes. He cuts you off. He sounds impatient. He gives short answers. He sighs. He rushes you. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious. Just enough edge to test if you'll accept being spoken to differently. And most women do. They brush it off. They make excuses for it. They tell themselves he's just stressed. But what he's actually doing is testing this dynamic, seeing how much he can pull back without you pushing back. Here's the part that hurts. Men don't lower their tone with women they value. They lower it with women they think will stay no matter what. Watch the difference. Notice how he talks to someone he wants to impress, someone he just met, someone he's trying to win over. His tone is warm, patient, engaged. Then notice how he talks to you. Short, dismissive, like your words are an interruption. That difference tells you everything, and it's more honest than anything he'll ever say. The mistake women make here is continuing to invest while they're being quietly downgraded. They meet dismissiveness with patience, disrespect with understanding. And every time they do, the imbalance locks in deeper. Respect doesn't come from asking for better treatment. It comes from refusing to stay when the treatment drops. Silence does more than arguments ever could. Pulling back does more than pleading. Calm distance says something words never will. This version of you doesn't accept this version of him. And that's the moment the dynamic either fixes itself or ends. So ask yourself honestly, why are you still investing where respect already left? Number 4, his body is pulling away, even if his words aren't. A man can say the right things and still be telling you no. His body will always be more honest than his words because it doesn't lie. It just reacts. When interest is there, the body opens naturally. When it's gone, the body pulls away before the mind explains why. This isn't planned. It's instinct. And that's why it's so reliable. When a man is drawn to you, his body turns toward you without thinking. His shoulders face you. His body leans in. His feet point your direction. There's ease in how he exists around you. He's not guarding himself. He's available. He finds reasons to be close. He touches your arm when he's laughing. He sits next to you instead of across from you. He closes the distance naturally. When that changes, everything subtly shifts. His arms cross, his legs angle away. He leans back instead of forward. He creates small barriers, holding his phone between you, adjusting his jacket, turning slightly toward the room instead of toward you. None of it is dramatic, but all of it is deliberate on a body level. Women ignore these signals because his words haven't changed yet. He's still polite, still saying yeah, or sure, or maybe. And that politeness keeps women leaning in when they should be stepping back. But here's the truth most women miss. Men can say yes out of politeness. Their bodies never do. Watch how this plays out. On a date, the first half feels open. Conversation flows. He leans closer. Then something shifts. He sits back an inch. His posture closes. He stops mirroring your movements. He checks his phone more. That's not random. That's withdrawal. In group settings, it's even clearer. Instead of angling toward you, he angles toward his friends. He leans into them, not you. He positions himself so there's distance between you. Physical closeness follows interest. Distance follows disconnection. Even in texting, this shows up. Responses slow down. Plans become vague. Maybe replaces actual commitments. That's physical distance translated into behavior. The same closing, just expressed digitally. The mistake women make here is pushing forward. They move closer when he moves back. They increase effort when his body is screaming, retreat. And every step forward he didn't invite makes you less attractive. Attraction needs space to breathe. When you ignore his need for distance, you kill what little interest might still be there. The woman who notices this early doesn't argue with it. She mirrors the distance. She relaxes back. She stops pushing. And that simple move does something powerful. It forces honesty into the dynamic because when you stop chasing someone who's retreating, their interest either returns or shows that it was already gone. Both outcomes protect you. Number 5, zero effort is the loud rejection. This is the clearest sign of all because it removes all confusion. When a man is interested, he puts in effort. He asks questions. He adds energy. He participates. He makes plans. He follows through. Interest naturally creates action. When that action disappears, the message is already clear. And yet, this is the sign women fight accepting the most. Instead of effort, you start getting placeholders, short replies, Delayed responses, conversations that go nowhere. He answers, but he doesn't engage. He reacts, but he doesn't start anything. You carry the whole thing while he just receives it. This isn't confusion, it's positioning. Modern dating calls it breadcrumbing, giving just enough attention to keep you around, but never enough to move forward. From a power view, it's simple. He's keeping you warm while he waits to see if something better comes along. Look at how it shows up. You ask questions. He answers without asking anything back. You suggest plans. He says maybe or we'll see or I'll let you know. Details disappear. Commitment gets postponed. Momentum dies slowly but on purpose. And the most telling part, he's not absent. He's active, just not with you. He's online. He's posting. He's engaging elsewhere. He has time for his friends, time for his hobbies, time for everything except making real plans with you. So, when women say he's just busy, what they're really doing is protecting themselves from the truth. Because admitting he's choosing not to invest is uncomfortable. Here's the insight most women never hear. Attention that costs nothing has no value. When you keep giving time, validation, and emotional energy to someone who isn't matching it, you teach him exactly how little effort it takes to keep you. You lower your own worth by offering yourself at a discount. Men don't respect access that doesn't have conditions, and they don't fear losing what never asks for anything in return. The shift happens when you stop filling the silence, when you end conversations instead of dragging them, when you stop chasing clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion, not as punishment, as self-respect. A woman who requires mutual effort doesn't need to announce it. She shows it by what she no longer gives away freely. And here's the part that changes everything. Most women are afraid to pull back because they think it guarantees losing him. But the truth is staying when there's no effort guarantees something worse. You stay visible, available, and easily replaced. When you step back, one of two things happens. He steps forward or he disappears. Both outcomes tell you exactly where you stand, and both save you from continuing to invest in a position you were never meant to hold. There's a reason some women never get breadcrumbed, never get kept warm, never get slowly faded out. It's not because they're prettier or smarter or more interesting. It's because they move through dating with a different internal standard. They don't chase interest, they look for it. When you look at the 5 signs together, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The attention wandering, the voice going flat, the tone turning sharp, the body pulling away, the effort disappearing. None of these are random. They're all responses to one thing: how available you are without requiring anything back. Men don't test women they fear losing. They test women they believe will stay no matter how little they give. And this is where everything locks in. The woman men respect doesn't demand clarity. She doesn't ask for reassurances. She doesn't argue with mixed signals. She pays attention once and adjusts accordingly. Not emotionally, strategically. She doesn't over-explain herself when energy drops. She doesn't negotiate when tone shifts. She doesn't lean in when interest pulls away. Instead, she pulls back her access. That doesn't mean she becomes cold or bitter. It means she has standards. It means her time, attention, and emotional presence aren't free samples. They're given in response to mutual effort, not hope. This is the shift from tactics to identity. When you stop asking men to choose you and start watching whether they already are, your entire experience changes. You're no longer reacting to signals. You're filtering for alignment. And men feel that immediately. Because the rarest thing in dating isn't confidence, it's standards. A woman who can walk away from low interest without drama becomes the woman whose presence carries weight. Not because she's playing games, but because she's no longer playing herself. And once that identity settles in, you don't need to memorize signs anymore. You see the pattern early. You respond calmly. And you never find yourself wondering why you keep ending up in the same place. Men don't walk away from women suddenly. They leave quietly, long before the goodbye ever happens. By the time most women realize something is wrong, the decision has already been made. Not in words, in behavior. Interest didn't vanish overnight. It pulled back in pieces. Attention faded. Tone shifted. Effort disappeared. And the women who get hurt the most are the ones who kept investing, hoping things would go back to how they were. This is the real divide. On one side is the woman who keeps giving, keeps adjusting, keeps waiting until she's drained and confused. On the other is the woman who notices early, responds calmly, and refuses to stay where she isn't valued. The difference isn't confidence. It isn't looks. It's knowing your worth and acting like a lady who thinks like a man.